Greetings, Earthworms, and this is Jetstream. There has been a lot of mixed results for the show, and I can understand why. However, is the show greatly underestimated? Let's rev up and find out. Robots in Disguise 2015 is a sequel to Transformers Prime, so FYI, I'll be comparing the two shows. It's unavoidable. Transformers Prime has been praised as one of the most well-beloved Transformers cartoons since, well, the original show, The Transformers. So, big deal for most. So, of course, we never wanted to say goodbye, but alas, all good things must come to an end. Then after a few years, we got Robots in Disguise 2015, to which, for what I can see, has been judged pretty harshly. And don't misunderstand, I'm not gonna tell you to love or hate the show, I'm just gonna give you my opinion.
It was your opinion, which I strongly disagree with.
Since the show happens to be its own thing and there are a ton of characters that seem unnecessary at best, but is that the reason we are so mixed on it? I can't honestly say for sure unless I was granted the power to thrust my consciousness into the fleshy mind of others and pluck out their most intimate thoughts.
Ew.
Only you could take something as beautiful and natural as telepathy and make it sound wrong.
Well, there is the cortical psychic patch.
A pity this little gadget won't allow me to just reach into his brain pan and pluck out the info.
Fortunately, we possess a device that can.
I've been banned to use it, so... long story, don't ask. Anyway, it's possible as a hunch that maybe change is the answer. It could be a good thing or a bad thing depending on one's point of view. And therefore, I'll happily say that I have vastly enjoyed this show. And if you're not new to my content, you'll know it's one of my most favorite Transformers shows. Next to Transformers Prime, and think it's greatly underestimated, simply because of some of the comments I've seen either on my videos or others. The show not only stands on its own, but it does do a nice nods to the previous show with some references.
I don't think Grimlock's in control of himself. He wanted to hit me, but he couldn't. It was like there was a war going on inside him.
Accept it. Grimlock's just a bad bot who's been playing us for suckers.
Whatever's going on, our first priority is to find Grimlock in that pod and bring them both back here.
This isn't Grim's fault, B. What Russell's saying is at least possible, right? Tell me you know that.
I know you always listen to me no matter what. That's right, B. It's me.
Unbelievable!
As well as previous other shows.
Brains? Grimlock know how to bash brains. Maybe bash yours.
Grimlock, what did you do? Bite the controls?
That was hardly necessary. Grimlock, simply nullified the hazard by terminating the operation of the security system.
I'll provide a distraction. You have the stasis cuffs ready.
Good to go, sir.
You guys don't have a plan for catching this con yet, do you? 'Cause
Here, Bumblebee out.
What would a Decepticon want in this place?
It is my hypothesis that Simicore is after the secondary control circuit, which provides backup power for the particle accelerator's atom-smashing beam. This circuit could conceivably function as a space drive relay in a Cybertronian starship.
How unusual to find such deductive skills in a Dinobot.
Always nice to see, and I love to notice them. The animation. It has a nice flow to it with some minor mistakes, and the transformations are very solid. Very, very similar to some of the toys that they have out. So, no random anime lights show here. Yes, Beast Machines, I'm looking at you. And each design reflects the character it portrays, and it's not just the main characters, it's everyone. Okay, I know some are copy-paste characters with recolors and maybe a different head. However, Transformers Prime also have done this. It's time-saving and yet not out of place.
It looks like we were both forged from the same protoform mold.
And clearly, the style has changed from a CGI to a more drawn-like style, I guess. Making for a very different atmosphere and overall changing the very mood of the show. It would seem to be a lot more of a child-friendly feel instead of a, well... that! But to its credit, it's a very nice change of pace to see such dark moments to balance out the more light-hearted silly stuff. However, I don't think these two are that far apart as you might think. This style of animation works for what they were going for, and it creates great visuals with colour and imaginative backgrounds that generally look quite wonderful. The characters. As you know, there are a variety of characters for our heroes and their personalities to bounce off of. In fact, it gives us a lot more than Transformers Prime did, which is not always a good thing. Then you're more likely to have the problem of characters fade away into the background and don't necessarily make such a big impact on the story. I mean, that in the last episode, the minicons that belong to Drift, Slipstream and Jetstorm never say a word. They were just there. However, at least given a small role to play though, I'm pretty sure it seemed kinda pointless. It's like, hey, techie, go over there, see what you can see. Oh my gosh, how long has that been there? See, it's pretty much the same. Though I gotta add, the most I hear from people that I think is wrong with the show is that it don't have character development, which is something I can't understand. Don't Sideswipe go from a no-good punk to a punk-aft hero who generally cares? Was Strong-Arm someone that was bounded by the rules and now has lined up to the idea that rules can be restricting? The team overall learning about responsibilities, respect, teamwork. Are these not development? Becoming stronger and better as friends in a family unit?
Alright. Friendship is magic.
However, I do believe there are weak characters within the show, such as Windblade. Having this really random backstory and not being all that likable simply because she seems to be some Primus sent know-it-all.
You take pride in being an insufferable know-it-all.
But I digress, because it would seem that even the main villain of the show, Steeljaw, has grown as a character from someone that simply just wanted to rule the world, and then after time wanting to protect the very world that he wanted to rule. Whereas Megatron kinda got possessed by Unicron and flew away, never to be seen again. Oh, and by the way, characters from Transformers Prime show up here. It's nice to see characters from a previous show turn up, and it allows me to gush over Starscream and have my mind blown by Soundwave. Yeah, awesomeness! The story is pretty exciting and generally fun. It at times can be energetic, but can also know when to slow down so you can soak up the atmosphere. So, luckily because of that, they don't tend to jump too much all over the place, keeping to the point and allowing a nice pace. We do have filler episodes that don't exactly further too much into the story, however they are still pretty relevant. If they're not doing the whole story element, then we're learning about the characters themselves and or something else entirely, which is always nice to have. An episode dedicated to a character or character's development or learning about a character's skill, seeing devices being used from previous shows, and so on. They also took advantage of this in episodes where in each one, our heroes' Decepticon hunters got stolen, and then was used against them in a future episode. But then I think that the story can be just a teeny bit tacky. And some episodes just seem a little less memorable once you get into season 3, but maybe I'm biased to combiners or something, I don't know. Not a bad idea, it's just a little random and out of nowhere. However, I really do love how they ended the series pretty open-ended. It leaves room for, dare I say, more. Giving an ending like this gives us the opportunity to create And then world.
And then. No and then. 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 And then.
And when I say that, I mean that everything could pretty much happen. The world is your fish, and anything can go. What? That's not how the expression goes. So yeah, I like this show, and I love Transformers Prime, and I think Robots in Disguise is good enough. It really is a lot of fun, and I think it's worth giving a chance, and I think a lot of people have, and found that is not too bad, given the fan art of this show. So like and subscribe for more content. Please click that bell to be notified when I upload more videos such as this one, and more. And remember, by controlling the web, I control the world. End transmission.
Is it true kittens can swarm?
Scrap.